The concept of the impact of plagues in ancient times refers to the profound and often devastating effects that widespread diseases had on societies in the past, particularly within the regions known as the Bible lands, which include areas such as Egypt, Israel, and Mesopotamia. These plagues not only caused significant loss of life, but also deeply affected the socio-economic structures, political institutions, and cultural narratives of ancient civilizations. Understanding the impact of these plagues is crucial as it provides context for how ancient societies responded to such crises and the ways in which these events are recorded in historical and religious texts. The significance of this topic within the broader subject of ancient plagues is immense, as it highlights both the vulnerability and resilience of human societies when faced with catastrophic events. It underscores the role of these plagues in shaping historical trajectories and influencing religious and cultural texts that have been foundational to Judeo-Christian beliefs. By examining these impacts, we gain insights into ancient medical practices, survival strategies, and the evolution of public health responses. Two notable examples illustrate this point. First, the plagues of Egypt, as described in the Bible, which were a series of calamities that struck ancient Egypt and are believed to have had significant socio-political implications, disrupting economic activities and contributing to the eventual exodus of the Israelites. Second, the Antonine Plague, a later instance in the Roman Empire, decimated populations, weakened the military, and shifted the economic power dynamic, highlighting the widespread disruption such plagues could cause. Opinions that support the idea of examining the impact of ancient plagues often emphasize the importance of learning from the past to build resilient societies today. By understanding historical responses to plagues, modern societies can develop strategies to deal with future pandemics and health-related challenges. However, challenges exist in accurately interpreting historical records due to biases, lack of comprehensive data, and the mythical elements interwoven with historical narratives. Some might argue that religious texts are not reliable historical sources, presenting alternative viewpoints that call for a more scientific approach to understanding these events. Overall, this point connects deeply with other aspects of the main topic by providing a framework through which the causes, effects, and resolutions of ancient plagues can be explored. It sets the stage for discussing the socio-political and religious changes instigated by these crises and helps to understand their lasting impacts on civilizations in the Bible lands. The heading Ancient Plagues, the catastrophic events that struck the Bible lands, refers to the disastrous outbreaks of disease and calamity described in biblical texts. These events, often interpreted as acts of divine intervention, played a pivotal role in shaping the religious, cultural, and historical landscapes of regions like Egypt, Canaan, and Mesopotamia. The plagues symbolize both divine punishment and deliverance, illustrating themes of faith, obedience, and the struggle between oppressors and the oppressed. The significance of these ancient plagues lies in their profound impact on the societies they struck. They are emblematic of the immense vulnerability of ancient civilizations to natural and supernatural events. One of the most well-known examples is the 10 Plagues of Egypt, described in the book of Exodus, where a series of calamities were unleashed to persuade Pharaoh to free the Israelites. This narrative highlights the concept of divine justice and liberation, influencing countless generations' understanding of faith and morality. Another example is the outbreak of disease among the Philistines in the first book of Samuel, often interpreted as divine retribution for capturing the Ark of the Covenant. This event underscores the perceived power of sacred objects and the belief in divine protection and retribution in ancient societies. Opinions supporting the historical influence of these plagues suggest that they reinforce the power of religious leaders, who were often seen as intermediaries with the divine. The narratives provided not only explanations for natural phenomena, but also moral and ethical frameworks for believers. However, these accounts are not without challenges and controversies. Skeptics question the historicity and accuracy of the biblical texts, arguing that these stories may be allegorical rather than literal retellings. Scientific explanations have been proposed for these events, such as natural disasters or epidemics, challenging the traditional religious interpretations. These ancient plagues are interconnected with broader themes of human suffering, divine intervention, and the perennial struggle for freedom and justice. They influence interpretations of historical events and religious teachings, providing lessons on resilience and morality. These narratives reverberate through history, shaping the identities and beliefs of cultures in the Bible, lands, and beyond, acting as a testament to humanity's enduring contemplation of the divine and the inexplicable forces that shape our world. Plagues described in biblical texts refer to the catastrophic events depicted in the Bible, often interpreted as divine retribution or tests of faith. These plagues are crucial to understanding the intersection of ancient history, religion, and societal development in biblical lands. They serve as narratives that combine elements of myth, history, and morality, shaping the cultural and religious landscapes of the regions involved. The significance of these plagues in ancient times was profound, as they were seen as direct interventions by God in human affairs. This concept underscores the perceived link between the divine will and natural events, a perspective that influenced how societies interpreted disasters and their consequences. These plagues are pivotal in demonstrating the vulnerabilities and resilience of ancient communities, and they offer modern readers insights into how such societies coped with crisis. Two prominent examples of plagues from the Bible include the 10 plagues of Egypt, described in the book of Exodus, and the plague mentioned in the second book of Samuel that afflicted the Israelites due to a census ordered by King David. The 10 plagues serve as an enduring narrative of liberation and divine justice, marking the Israelites' journey from slavery to freedom while highlighting the perceived consequence of disobedience to God. Meanwhile, the story of King David's plague illustrates the biblical theme of repentance, showing how human actions and divine retribution are intricately connected in these texts. Supporters of these interpretations often argue that these stories provide valuable moral and ethical lessons, reflecting the worldview of the societies from which they originated. They present a narrative framework that allows adherents to explore concepts of justice, power, and morality within their religious contexts. However, challenges and controversies abound when interpreting these plagues. Skeptics often question the historicity and literal interpretation of such events, viewing them as allegorical or exaggerated narratives. Some scholars propose natural explanations for these plagues, such as environmental disasters, disease outbreaks, or socio-political upheaval, which were then framed within a religious context. This point influences other aspects of ancient plagues by highlighting the blend of faith and history in explaining human experiences with diseases and disasters. It opens discussions on how these narratives may have been used to unify communities, justify leadership decisions, or promote certain religious beliefs. In exploring the interplay between divine acts and historical events, we gain deeper insights into the cultural and theological evolution of the ancient Near East. The plague of locusts is one of the most striking events recorded in biblical history, specifically detailed in the book of Exodus. This narrative describes a devastating swarm of locusts sent by God as the 8th plague upon Egypt, a calamity that consumed every green thing left after a prior hailstorm. Locusts, often seen as harbingers of destruction across various ancient cultures, symbolize both natural disaster and divine intervention in this context. Their significance lies in their role as a mechanism of punishment and a catalyst for change, reflecting the broader theme of plagues as transformative events in the Bible lands. This plague's importance is underscored by its ecological and socio-political ramifications. Ancient societies heavily reliant on agriculture experienced catastrophic consequences when faced with locust infestations, driving home the vulnerability of human civilization to natural phenomena. The biblical account of locust swarms decimating Egyptian crops can be seen as a metaphor for the collapse of established systems, underscoring a dependence on both divine favor and agricultural stability. Two historic examples further illustrate the impact of locust plagues. The 1874 Rocky Mountain locust swarm devastated the Great Plains in the United States, leading to widespread crop failure and economic hardship. In more recent history, the 2019 to 2020 locust plague in East Africa threatened food security for millions, highlighting the ongoing challenges modern societies face against these age-old adversaries. Opinions supporting the significance of locust plagues highlight their role in understanding humanity's enduring struggle against nature's unforgiving forces. They are viewed as a tool for highlighting the interplay between divine will and human resilience, calling for humility and adaptation in the face of nature's might. Nevertheless, challenges arise in reconciling these events with scientific understanding and the allegorical interpretations often associated with them. Some scholars argue for purely ecological explanations, emphasizing climate patterns and natural cycles without invoking divine causality. These alternative perspectives encourage a dialogue between faith-based interpretations and empirical science. The plague of locusts connects deeply with other biblical plagues, each representing a struggle or lesson for humankind. This plague exemplifies themes of divine power and ecological vulnerability, encouraging a broader reflection on humanity's relationship with the natural world. In the broader narrative of ancient plagues, locusts are a poignant reminder of both peril and the potential for renewed equilibrium, serving as an impetus for adaptation and hope amidst devastation.